For my video, I'm going to be demonstrating how to create a crisis response plan. I'm going to have my husband Carl come in as my client, and he's going to tell me about a crisis he's going through, and then we're going to go through the steps of how to create that crisis response plan. Okay, Carl, can you tell me why you're coming in today?
I've just been having a rough time.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you've been having a rough time? What's been going on?
There's a lot of stuff. I think COVID makes things hard. I just stay home all day. Money's running out. Hard to find work. My mom just got diagnosed and she's inpatient in the hospital right now. They're seeing how she's gonna do, but it's just been hard.
How are you coping with it? Like, I know staying home all the time and is a lot to handle sometimes. Are you home alone? Like, do you have anybody living at the house with you? What's going on?
No, it's just me. I watch a lot of Netflix. Do a little recreational drugs, but it's just a little bit, just to kind of help me cope.
How often would you say that you're doing those drugs?
A lot.
A lot. So a little bit, but a lot of the time. Is that correct?
Yeah, on a rough day, sometimes I'll just not want to be on that day, and so I'll just do drugs the whole day.
Okay. And how often would you say that you don't really want to, like, be conscious or aware of what's going on in your life?
Tuesdays. Well, and Wednesdays. Thursdays, Fridays are okay. Sundays are pretty dumb. I don't like Sundays either.
So you're at least getting one good day a week, but would you say those other 6 days you're definitely participating in those drugs quite often?
Yeah.
So normally when a client or a patient comes in and tells me that they are participating in those drugs often, we like to do what's called a crisis response plan. And it's a way of helping you cope and maybe also to help you not participate in those drugs as often. Would you be willing to work on one of those with me?
I think so.
All right, well then let's do one of those and see if we can help you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you this index card here and this pen, and we're going to go through a couple steps to help you when you start to feel like you want to take those drugs. Okay. So the first step is personal warning signs. So how I want you to write down how you will know if you're going to take that drug. Like, what is your trigger? Kind of think about that. Do you have any ideas that come to mind?
I try and keep like a clean house and do what I can, but usually after I do something I think is hard, I'll reward myself. Right?
Okay.
I'm gonna write that down here. What else? After I get off the phone with my dad recently, because mom's in COVID and he gives me updates. After I get off the phone, definitely, just because that's hard. They're old. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have certain friends who we have the same hobbies.
Okay.
So every time they come over, not every time, sometimes we'll do it. We just share that. I mean, that's part of our friendship. Oh, and after chicken nuggets. I don't know why.
It just really reminds you of the drugs.
There must be some chicken nuggets. It's going down.
Okay. Well, I think those are some good starts to identifying why you may want to participate in those drugs. Okay, so for the second step, we are going to have you write down some self-management strategies. And the self-management strategies will just kind of take your warning signs further, and we can try and prevent you from doing those drugs. I do not have a personal problem with you using the illicit drugs, but you mentioned that you are struggling financially, and obviously those drugs are expensive, and so if we can cut back on the drugs, then it will increase your finances and hopefully help you in that way. So on your card, you mentioned rewards. When you go through a hard time, you reward yourself. Do you think that they're is a different way to reward yourself, or would you say that the drugs are the only way to reward yourself?
I'm sure there's other ways. The drugs are just the easiest one.
I mean, it's up to you, but do you want to choose a different way to reward yourself?
There are times of the month where I know I'm gonna be tight financially, and I know that I don't have the means, and sometimes I'll do it anyways and choose that over, I don't know, sometimes I run out of dish soap. But so it'd be nice not to feel obligated to have to make that decision more.
Okay. Well, if you can come up with something, then we can come up with a different reward for you besides those drugs. And then you also mentioned that you have a hard time after you get off the phone with your dad. Do you think that there's a way to maybe decrease that stress when you talk to your dad on the phone?
Not answer the phone.
You can definitely not answer the phone. That is up to you.
No, I can't not answer the phone. I'd feel bad. I don't know about that one. I think I can definitely think of other things to do for rewards. I don't know if I can avoid that one easily.
That's fair. So I guess we can focus more on the rewards for you. You did mention the chicken nuggets. Is there anything you want to do about that one?
I'll consider that one. I think the biggest focus is going to be on rewarding myself. I'm not ready to get rid of the chicken nuggets.
Okay, so we had you write down some reasons for living. I think that those were good for you. And then the next thing I'll have you write down on your index card is a category for social support. I know you said that you live alone, but you also mentioned stuff about friends and your dad and your mom. Is there, or any of those people that you feel like socially support you?
Tom. Yeah, he smokes all the drugs before I get there. Well, okay, I have a cousin who lives across town. We get along, I guess, but I mean, he's probably the closest family I have.
Okay, so the last category that we'll talk about is professional crisis support. So we've talked a little bit just about the risks of you using those drugs so often. So I just want you to have sources in case something happens or you get into trouble. Do you know of any like crisis hotlines, or maybe your doctor or anything? Do you know their numbers?
No, I don't even think I've been to the doctor since COVID started.
Okay. So that's something we'll look into. We can find you a doctor that fits your insurance and stuff. And we can write down their number on this card. And we can write down my number in case you need to call me at any time. Okay, so now that we have finished the 5 different things that I wanted you to write on your card, I guess we are finished. Do you have any other questions for me before we kind of wrap things up?
That's good.
Okay, so I want you to carry this index card around with you. And kind of what I want you to do is when you start feeling like you want to have those drugs, I want you to pull it out and kind of go over the different steps that we talked about. And you may not be perfect at it, you may slip up and take those drugs, but the main reason for us doing this is you mentioned that you wanted to help yourself financially, and so we're going to work on that. Okay, so the third step that we'll have you write on your index card is reasons for living. And we will put that down just because I'm sure that you know the risks of using drugs, especially where you're using them as often as you are. There are risks with that. And so maybe we want to talk about reasons for living. Is there anything in your life that gives you a reason to live?
I'd like to be there for my mom. Maybe I could get a dog. I like dogs.
Dogs are beneficial. An emotional support animal. So I think that those are both good ideas to consider. And so if you ever need my help, you can call me. But I think that is all, unless you need anything else.